what I want you to focus on. Go and get your stance again. Good. Up and back. Good. You need to sit on your shoulder, right? Relax it, and just pick it up a little. Oh, okay. Okay. I like your setup. Looks good. You get back in there. Good. Good job. Hit those knees. Biggest muscles in the body. What's an easy way for you guys to think about it? When you get in your hands in the right spot, you'll see two little things in your arms, right? You'll see a little L like in your front arm and a good V in your back arm. Does that make sense? Okay. If your hands are down here, you don't have that. Does that make sense? If you get them here, you got a nice L, nice almost 90-degree angle there, right? And a very small, very tight, like an angle you're going to be able to punch with, okay? And that's what you're going to see. If you put those two things in there, and you can use your lower half to get into our load, which we're about to get into, it's going to help you a lot, okay? Now, as we get into our load and our step, okay, this is very important for guys at your age because you're making that transition from post pitch to pitch pitch, okay? And that's a stressful transition, right? I mean, as you're going through, guys aren't throwing a ton of strikes all the time, right? Until you get to be about 13 or 14, that's still going to be the case, okay, right? So everybody, the pitchers are behind the hitters right now because everybody's been hitting their whole time they've been playing pitchers happen, right? So we need to learn how to time a pitcher a little bit, okay? When we look at timing, you guys all look at how fast the guy throws, and what upper level baseball players and hitters look at is how long it takes for him to get rid of the baseball, okay? So the biggest thing we've got to understand is we're going to use our body to time the pitcher's release point, and we're going to use our swing to time the ball. Does that make sense, right? So when the pitcher's going through his motion, all you're trying to do with your step is land your foot by the time he's letting go of the ball. Does that make sense? Okay? And what I guarantee you a lot of you guys tend to do is you get here and that ball comes out of the hand, you're still in the middle of your step, and you're basically stepping and swinging because you run out of time to get that foot down and swing. Does that make sense? Okay? So as we go through, I call it dancing with the pitcher, okay? So when you look at it, the pitcher has a nice, fluid, slow motion, okay? And he's like listening to like country music, right? Something nice and slow, right? And if you're up there and you're listening to rap music and you're doing things fast, it's not going to work out. Does that make sense? Okay? So as the pitcher's going up, here's what you're looking at. He's going to attack you 2 times, all right? The first time he's going to attack you, it just means he moves towards you, right? Is when he takes the ball out of his glove and he starts to stretch everything out at you. Does that make sense? Okay? When he does that, you're going to go back and load. Does that make sense? Okay? So as he stretches out and comes towards you, you're going to go back away from him. Okay? And then when he lands that front foot and attacks you the second time and throws the ball, you're going to take your step. Does that make sense? Okay? And all you're trying to be is in an athletic position when the ball comes out of the hand, okay? So when we get in this spot, as we get into our load, I want you to feel like you're gathering your weight into the back leg, okay? It's gonna feel, I want you to feel more like a spring than a back and forward. Does that make sense, okay? So instead of leaning back and losing where our head, because here's what we're looking at. We're looking at our head, okay? If we take our head and we lean back, lose all our athleticism. Does that make sense? Okay? So think about it like this. If I had like divided my body into 3 boxes, all right? Like my lower half is a big box, my chest is like a medium box, my head's like a small box. Those are all stacked on top of each other, right? Now if I lean, I'm going to spill over, all those boxes are going to fall down, right? If I get more compression into that back leg and squish into it a little, then I can still stay stacked and I get much less head movement. Does that make sense? Now I stride from there, and I'm in a good spot, 50-50, good athletic position, hands up and back still, ready to take my swing. Does that make sense? Okay? And that's all we got to do, okay? When you guys look at trying to gain power, you think your load and your stride are going to give you power, and they don't, okay? All they're intended to do is time the pitch. Does that make sense? Okay? We're going to get our power out of turning our hip, extending and driving the bat, accelerating it through the ball, okay? You can load, you can do this all you want, and it's never going to make you hit harder because you're mostly going to be off time and unathletic. Does that make sense? Okay? So that's a big thing that we've got to understand at a young age, is to make sure that we're using our power in our swing, okay? Not before we swing, all right? So that's what I want to see. Go and get your stance again. All I want, we get those hands up, we get that L and that V, we got that good grip, we're nice and athletic, okay? And we can move a little bit here, all right? You can stay a little relaxed, right? But when we go back, again, I don't want to see that chest leaning and the shoulders changing planes, okay? You should feel like your shoulders stay flat and your knee bends a little bit more, almost like you're sitting down into your back leg. You see what I mean? Okay? And when you get to that point, you should feel all your weight right on the inside of your back foot, okay? Because what are we going to try to do with that weight when we go to swing? Where are we going to try to move it? Forward, right? We want the ball to go that way, right? So if I get my weight on the outside, it's hard for me to go forward. You see what I mean? If my weight's on the inside, I can really get off and go forward and with my turn, okay? So when we load that weight, we're trying to control it to where we can use it when we try to move the back. Does that make sense? So all I want is I want to feel more like a spring, like we're kind of lower, getting a little bit lower, a little bit shorter, and a little bit wider when we step. Does that make sense? So when you get in that position of your stance, if you're in a good solid stance position, all you should feel different after you take your step is that you feel like you're a little bit closer to the ground and you're a little bit wider. But everything else is almost exactly the same. Does that make sense? Okay? So if we can tone that down a little bit, we can be much more consistent seeing the ball and taking your swing. Okay? Because what I want y'all to understand, I know I'm talking loud, I'll be done here in a second, okay? But all I want y'all to see is 90% of your swing mechanic flaws come from you not taking your load in your step properly, okay? Because look at what happens. What if I end up like this? What if I take my step and I end up like this? Okay? You're exactly right. I only have two options, okay? I can either keep my head still and turn and fly out, right, and come underneath the ball, right? Or if I actually try to move my weight forward, what's going to happen?
It's going to go straight.
I'm going to go up with my head, and now I can't see the ball anymore. Does that make sense? Okay?
If I
can get myself in that athletic position, now I can get the bat working with my body and get my turn all with my head still. Does that make sense? Okay? So that's what we're trying to focus on, right? And I know this part of the swing, you're not even really moving the bat yet, so you guys think it's not less important and kind of boring to talk about, but this is the most crucial part of your swing that we need to fix with you guys, okay? At all the young ages, all the lessons I give, this is the hardest part to get consistent just because you guys all want to hit the ball and you don't really want to worry about how you're getting ready to hit the ball. Does that make sense, right? So if we can understand this, it's going to make a big difference as we get into the swing. Okay? Go and get your stance for me. I'm going to do a little motion and I want to see everybody get ready for the pitch a little bit. Okay? So I'm going to come set. Make sure you got your L, your V, your good grip. That's what you're always focusing on first. Athletic position. Get a little wider. Sit. Good. Good. So if anybody's in this position right now, I shouldn't be able to walk up to you and push you down. Does that make sense? Right? You should be athletic. There you go. Now, get your hands a little closer back over your shoulder. There you go, a little bit more. There you go, a little more. All right, so now, when I first go through my first move, when I pick my leg up, that doesn't mean anything to you, right? I haven't done anything yet, right?
See, now you got
Once I start to spread out,
and then
I want to start seeing that load.
I
don't need the hands to really go anywhere. I just need the weight to get into our back leg.
Just keep that right there.
Right there, okay? Ready? Hold it there. Go back. Good. Stay in that spot. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Look at the difference, fellas. All right? And this is where I'm going to be really picky on you guys. All right? I saw a few different things when I saw there. Okay? I saw a couple guys have a load, and it was really like, okay, that doesn't look good. If you're looking at me, y'all can tell that doesn't look good, right? Okay? So we just need to keep that head more still. And you're going to feel like you're barely doing anything, okay? It doesn't take much, okay? All you got to do is just a little bit, and you're right where you want to be, okay? It looks like I just bent my knee just a little bit more, and my butt went down a little bit lower, and nothing else changed, okay? So that's what we want to focus on, is staying very controlled into that spot. Then when we take the step, what should not come forward when we take the step?
Back foot.
Back foot shouldn't come forward, you're right. Head's going to come forward with the touch.
Bat.
The bat, right? Yeah. We're using the bat. We're going to use the bat for power, right? The swinging, okay? So if I think about like taking a full swing doesn't start right there, does it? It starts right here, right? So I need to have the ability to take a full swing with my hands after I get my foot down. So when I get my foot down, everything should still be back. Does that make sense? Okay? Show it to me again. Stand. Good. Small load, just a little bit. Just get that butt down a little bit. Feel that back leg really get in. Good. Take that step. Everybody's already taking a step. Good. All right. Much better. That's what I want you to feel. Okay? We're going to do a little drill here in a minute that has a fake in it. Okay? And basically when we're looking at it, when that fake happens, you should look just like this. Okay? Athletic, hands back in a strong position. Okay? Now we'll start getting into the swing a little bit. All right? A couple things that I want you to understand. All right? The first thing we're going to talk about is what we call connection. Okay? Connection is what we're trying to get our hands and our hips working together. All right? We have to move another piece of our body that's in between those two to get them to work. Okay? So what we're going to focus on, we're going to try to get that elbow and back it up here. We've got to get that thing in front of our chest, in front of our body. Okay? And here's why. When we look at the difference, all right, those guys are here. All right? If I start to turn my hips and I haven't gotten my elbow in front of my body, my hips and my hands won't go the same way. See what I mean? But if I can get that elbow to get in front of me first, then when I turn my hips, everything's going to go with them. Does that make sense? Okay? So when you first see a big league, right, the first thing that they do, the first thing they commit with their swing is their back elbow. Okay? That elbow starts to fold in under their hand and over their back hip. And once it gets past their back hip, then their hips start to turn. Okay? And during those moves, what's the back going to do?
Go
Not going to do anything. It's just going to stay there. Okay? Because here's what we got to understand. Right? Power is mass times acceleration. Okay? So what's that mean to a young guy? Right? It means body weight is mass, right? And back speed is acceleration. Okay? So all we're trying to do is make sure that we get every ounce of weight that we have to go forward into the ball. Okay? And number two, we got to make sure the bat never slows down when we're hitting the ball. Does that make sense? Okay? So if we think about acceleration first, right? Because the connection is how we're building up our acceleration. Okay? When you guys got younger brothers, y'all got buddies, y'all get in fist fights sometimes, mess around, right? So when you punch your brother, right? That bend, this angle represents power. Does that make sense? You're not going to hit very hard like that, right? Okay? So when we're hitting a ball, it works the same way. So what are you trying to get? You're trying to get as close to the ball as you can with your arms still as bent as possible. Okay? This is why throwing your hands at the ball doesn't work. Okay? It will get you to make contact, but you'll never hit it anywhere, right? Because if I go at the ball like this, I get there, and how can I speed that up? I can't. Does that make sense? The only way is a rollover, right? If I can get that connection into my body here, then as I start to turn my hips to the tip of the toe, I can get all the way up to the ball. My knob of the bat's still facing the ball. It's inside the ball. The barrel is still over my shoulder. And look at my arm. Now I can punch through that ball and drive through it, okay? And so we're going to really fight for that connection to that elbow and trying to keep that barrel up over the shoulder while that happens, okay? What you're going to feel when you do it right is you're going to feel like your hands stay really close to your body up until you hit the ball, okay? Those hands are going to be really close to your body up until you hit the ball. Boom, and then you're going to let them out, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to think it's going to be basically a three-piece move when we swing, all right? Keep it real simple, all right? We're going to get our elbow in, okay? Then we're going to rotate our body, and then we're going to extend through the ball, okay? And we're just going to keep it simple right there, all right? So all we're going to do is that elbow's going to come in, the hips are going to turn to the tip of the toe, face the pitcher, and then we're going to let the bat go. Finish the swing off. Does that make sense? Okay? Take your step. Go on, everybody, take your step for me. I'm almost done talking. Good. All right? So without moving the bat, without moving any other piece of your body, I want that elbow just to fold in right in front of your letters, right here. Okay? You're going to feel the back of your arm, your triceps here, should be like touching your chest, right? Like covering up your letters. Okay? There you go. Now try to keep that bat up a little bit more. There you go. Good. Now, from that spot, everybody hold it right there. Now, without moving, you don't even have to try to move the bat. Just keep the bat where it is and turn your hips to where they're facing the pitcher. There you go. All the way to the tip of the toe. Look at my back foot. On the tip of the back toe right there. Okay?
Hey, Zach. Look at his bat.
You still got the bat behind you. Now all you got to do is what?
Hey.
Let the bat go. Straighten those arms out.
Bat's behind you.
All the way straight. Straight out in front of you.
Turn again.
and then
now
finish the swing off.
you go through. Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
Do it again. Take your step. Good, fellas.
Take your step.
Good. Elbow, hips, tip of the toe.
Bat back.
Now let the back go and finish it off.
Okay, now. There you go.
Good. Now, what you're going to notice is the direction is very crucial, okay? Because here's why, like, when you spin out, like, what's most guys' problem, right? Flying out with their front shoulder, right? Okay? All that means is you're using body weight, you're just using it in the wrong direction, okay? Right? So when we turned right there, where did it feel like you were turning? Forward or backwards?
Forward.
Forward, exactly. And that's what it's got to be, okay? When you fly out, you're doing one move, which is the move that gives you the most power, your rotation of your hips. You're doing that move, you're just going towards the catcher while you do that move, instead of going forward while you do that move. Does that make sense? Okay? So that's what we've got to understand. Part of that is, again, two things. If your connection in the bat is off, then you have to make that move or else you're going to get jammed. Does that make sense? Okay? So if this stuff is good at the beginning, that's why we talked about the connection first, then I don't need any extra space to hit the ball. Does that make sense? I can keep going forward and release the bat out because my bat and my hands are both inside the ball. Does that make sense? Okay? So when you get that move and that elbow's in, you're going to put your hands and your bat in between your body and the ball. Okay? Then as we turn, everything is going to release away from our body through the baseball. Okay? Well, you're going to start to feel some of this stuff in these drills. I know that's a lot of stuff, right? Like I said, the biggest thing I want you to take away from all this, right, is how to get ready to swing, okay? And then as we get into some of these drills, you'll start to understand some of the other stuff that I was talking about, okay? Because most of it you probably haven't heard before, right? So you'll start to see the differences that those make in the ability to get your weight forward and get the bat to speed up as you hit it. Does that make sense? Okay? And we're going to use some of these drills to get it, all right? So get you a quick drink.